As you can see, the micro jig MatchFit Dado stop is incredibly handy for any shop to give you that perfect fitting dado without having to mess around with those shims on that dado blade. And now it's gotten even easier to set up this tool. Let me be the first to introduce you Micro Jig's MatchFit Setup Gauge that is sold separately and works in conjunction with their stop. The gauge is going to basically give you that setting over and over again for the left and the right side curve for that blade every single time without having to reset up this tool. And it's very simple to get set up. Let me show you how it works. Now, to set up your MatchFit Setup Gauge, very simple to do. The first thing I'm going to do is remove my MatchFit Dado stop and clamp. I'm going to set that over here to the side. We're going to move my miter gauge over here to the side as well. We're going to grab a scrap piece of material. It doesn't matter what this is. It can be plywood, hardwood, doesn't really matter. Raise your saw blade up so we can cut through it. And all we need to do is make a single cut. I'm going to go ahead and use my gripper here for safety. We're going to set it down. Slide the guide there, make that cut. Now that we've got our board cut, the most important thing that you need to remember is do not move that fence. The reason for that is that the inside of this cut here is the exact measurement from the left side of the curve of that blade. So we're going to set that back onto our saw. We're going to grab our miter gauge and bring that back over to our saw. And we need to grab our setup gauge. Now on the setup gauge, there's a little notch right here. And what we want to do is we're going to remove some of the plastic underneath that notch. That means that we need to adjust the height of our blade so that we come just through that notch, which we're already set. On the back side of the device, you'll see this little inset here, and that's designed for the head of the MatchFit clamp to fit into that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set our setup gauge on a miter gauge. Now you can see I've attached a small piece of wood. I like doing this in my shop because it gives me a better surface to work off that miter gauge. We're going to slide that over until it touches that piece of wood while it's up against that fence. We're going to take our MatchFit Dado clamp and we're going to clamp that onto the gauge, just like so. So what's happened now is that we're using this as a measuring device to give us that offset of the thickness of that blade within the device. Once you have it clamped in place, turn your saw on, and that's going to remove that material on the bottom gauge. Now, as you can see, there's a little notch right here. As we flip it over on the other side, you're going to see that there's a leg 1 and leg 2 already on the gauge. This is the left side of the blade and the right side of the blade. What we've done now is we've set the kerf of that blade thickness right into the gauge. Now let's show you how you use it to set up your MatchFit Dado. We're going to place our MatchFit Dado on our saw fence, use our MatchFit clamp to secure that onto the fence, like so. We're going to turn our gauge around this direction, move all of our legs back, and on that setup gauge it says leg 1. What we want to do is push this up against till it touches leg 1. Now the magnets on here help secure it in place while we're getting our setting. With that in place, we loosen up leg 2 and touch where we made that cut. That leg 2 is the outer edge of that saw blade kerf. In other words, now we have that kerf setting built right into that gauge. That's how quick and simple it is to set up this tool using the new MatchFit gauge to work with that device. Now, to cut the exact thickness of the dado, we're going to use the same device. On the opposite side, we're going to push it up against the edge, and again, you'll see that leg 2 lines up there. I'm going to use this type of piece that I was working on earlier, and we place that between the leg, and we adjust leg 3 over until it touches. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give me the cut setting for the exact thickness of this stock. We're going to lower our blade down halfway for the depth. And now all we have to do is adjust the fence on where we want that dado to start cutting at. Let's go ahead and make a cut on the opposite side here. The first cut is going to be on number 1. Our second cut is on the leg 3 back here. So our first cut starts here, second cut starts here, and then we just clean out the material in between. Let me show you how simple this is. And it's that simple to get that perfect fit match every single time without any shims or out any measuring. I'm sure if you decide to pick up the new MatchFit Dado Stop, be sure to get yourself one of the setup tools as well, because it makes it incredibly simple and easy to repeat that same process over and over again. Whether you're just doing straight dados or you're doing intricate work like you see here, I've set my miter gauge at an angle, and I've actually done lap joints to create this piece. And here's one of the most challenging joints that the MatchFit really made simple. This is a double lap joint, and again, it just pushes right together with absolutely no wiggle, no wobble, perfect fit every single time. I'm Dave Hughes, and thanks for watching.